Great day, everyone. Jerisha Hawk here. I'm an income strategist and founder of the Goal Getter Group, where I help individuals who work a 9-to-5 build a business on the side, and I help folks increase their income in their business by 3, 5, 10 times what they're currently making now a month. I truly believe in just achieving financial freedom and building a business on your own terms that really supports your overall life. So I'm excited to chat with you guys today. I'm just finishing up my lunch on my lunch break, and really wanted to hop on and talk about this because it's something I've personally been experiencing and something I've been helping some of my clients work through. And I just think it's a really important topic for us to talk about in regards to, as you're building a business, how do you price your products? How do you add value on what your products should be priced at? And really, how do you overcome those objections when people say, well, your prices are too high, or why am I paying this much for you for a particular product or service when I could go hire somebody else to do it for this amount of money, or it's only taking you 3 hours, so why is the price point whatever the case may be? And I wanted to talk about that because I think this is, again, something that comes up a lot, especially for new business owners and those who are looking to get to the next level in their business, or maybe you've been charging a certain price point for a while, but you're ready to go to that next level and you're having a disconnect energetically on your own in regards to your own money story on how you actually go about doing that. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick here today too. So really, when you're thinking about pricing your products, and I guess even before we talk about the pricing of your products, but I'm trying to think where's the best place to start here. Really, when you're thinking about pricing your products, I never base my prices off the time amount that I'm going to be spending doing the actual work. I price my products based on the return on the investment and the end result that the job that's to be done. Not how much time it's going to take me to do it, but the job that is to be done and what that is valued at based on the return on the investment of whatever that product or service is. And I know for some people, they get really disengaged with this, and this is really hard concept for them to understand. And I think a good way to describe it is if you're like a brand designer and you create logos for somebody, and let's just use the McDonald's logo. Most of us here, I'm not really artistically savvy, but a lot of us on this call could probably have the capability of drawing that M, right? Drawing and creating that McDonald's logo. It's nothing fancy. It's a letter in the alphabet. It's yellow, it's, whatever. But how much is that logo worth? When you really think about it, how much is that logo worth? Billions, right? And it's how much should McDonald's should have paid to actually get that logo created? But when you think about that logo is more than just the M, and it's more than just a yellow letter. It's a brand, and it stands for something. And when you buy a paper bag that has nothing on it, that paper bag is worth 50 cents. But when you throw a McDonald's M on that bag, the value has significantly increased now because of the brand that goes along with it. But if you were the person that was the decision maker on hiring a designer to make your brand logo, think about how much should you charge? And how much do people charge for logos? Some people charge $50 on Fiverr. Some people charge $500. Some people charge $1,000. Some people charge $20,000 a logo. Some really big marketing and branding companies charge $1 million for a logo. And really, what's the difference, right? Why should one be $1 million versus $100,000 versus $1,000 versus $100? What's the real difference? And when you think about from a company like McDonald's, if there's a lot of risk involved, if their logo now represents their entire brand. And think about how many times that logo, that M, has to be printed on something. All the bags, all the, fry containers, all the cups, all the t-shirts, everything. How much would it cost if they had to redo all that shit over again? If they had to hire somebody else because the logo wasn't right, it didn't convey the right message, it didn't speak to their brand, how much would it cost them to reprint and to redo all of their branding, all of their signs, all of their buildings? It would be billions of dollars. So when you are a designer and you're coming to them saying that, because of our experience, because of our expertise, because of the lifetime of experience and knowledge and skill set that I've acquired over these whatever years, I can design you a logo that speaks to your brand and speaks to your vision and speaks to your message. And I'm able to probably do it fairly quickly, rather than you hiring an intern out of college who doesn't even understand like the, color composition design, or doesn't really understand your brand vision. So there's a lot of iterations you have to do, a lot of back and forth you have to do. Maybe you end up having to hire 3 or 4 more interns to help and support, because none of them can really get it and convey your message. And now you're spending more time, more energy, and honestly more money on the back end to do it because the price was lower. So the price might be higher to create this logo or to create this branding, but really they're going to get it right, because they have the resources too to go hire somebody else, to go get an expert, to go, they have more resources to support them in actually delivering high quality on that logo or on that brand, versus if you try to hire somebody based on a lower price, even though, you might be, like I said, have to hire an intern here, hire a couple more, maybe you have to hire a brand strategist, maybe you have to hire all these different people, and the cost ends up dramatically increasing, and the time you've now spent has dramatically expanded as well, versus if you just would have paid the higher person from the get-go, because they knew exactly what they were doing and they knew how to deliver the result for you. So I just think it's an interesting concept when you think about it from that perspective. Or even sometimes when I think about when I buy my iPhone chargers, like how many of us, I normally go to Five Below to go buy an iPhone charger. Why? Because it's $5. And if I go to Target and buy a name brand one, maybe it can be $20. But I have to buy my iPhone charger that I buy from Five Below, like dies every month. So every month I'm having to go back to the store and buy another charger. And over the course of the year, I've spent over, over $50 on chargers, because I kept having to go back to the store because it kept dying. Versus if I just would have spent $20 up front, even though it was a higher cost at the beginning, it would have lasted me longer, and it would have saved me a ton of time from having to go back and forth to go buy another charger. So yes, the price point, and even I want you to think about this in regards to the product or service or whatever you're selling, even though you shouldn't be competing on price, because even though your price point may be higher, that competitor can't beat you on cost and can't beat you on quality. So, oh my gosh, that was really weird. But so I think that's a really important distinction that we have to keep in mind. When we are actually like thinking about our products and thinking about our services. And even how I price my products and my services, I don't base my price off of the amount of time I'm going to be spending. I base it on what I know the return on the investment is going to get for you. Somebody says, is there a standard formula to calculate your product cost along the knowledge, skills, and abilities? So this is something I offer as a service to my clients. There are, like, I think, basic formulas that you can kind of leverage and use out there. And that's something that I teach. But, and that's included like in my FFI program. I'm actually going to do a lunch money training on how to price your products. But I think it really depends for your industry, depends on who your ideal client is, depends on really what is the value to them. What is the value to them? And you shouldn't be pricing your product based off of what it is you're actually doing, but basing your product off of the return on the investment and what the value is going to be for that customer on the back end. So like one of I'm launching right now, Goal Getter Elite, and that's a 6-figure, it's a 6-month mastermind teaching people how to make 6 figures in 6 months. So that's how do I help somebody make $100,000 in the next 6 months. So when you think about the return on the investment of what you're getting from a program like that, I price it based off of what the return on the investment is going to be. So I am pretty much, like the value of that program is teaching you how to make 6 figures and how to develop a strategy and a clear roadmap and action plan that's going to help and get you there. So you paying, and let me know what you guys think here. Like if the value, like even going back to that McDonald's thing, seeing that M logo, what is McDonald's logo worth? I mean, it's literally worth billions of dollars. I mean, just because of the brand and the name and the image that comes along with it. Would you pay somebody $1 million to make you a logo that now has a brand value of over $1 billion? It's like a no-brainer. It's like, duh. And the same thing goes with how you price your products and services. And I do all of my products are really based on the fact on what is the 3 times the investment going to be? What is 10 times the investment going to be if they were to work with me? So like my high level mastermind, it's a high 4-figure investment. However, you're going to make 10 times back what you're spending to get into the program by the end of the program. To me, it's when you, and I price my products on value, like I said, not on necessarily time invested or like all the necessarily, like, I want to say quote unquote tangibles you get. And you saying like, if I spend $10,000, I can make $100,000. It's a fucking no brainer. It's like, sign me up. Like, and I think a lot of us who are especially newer in this space, or maybe not new, but going to that next level, is we get so caught up on what is that initial cost that we lose sight of what the return on the investment is going to be and what the value is going to be on the back end. Same thing goes when I was talking about my iPhone charger. I was jaded by the fact that, like, I don't want to spend $20 on an iPhone charger from Target because it's Verizon name brand. I'd rather go to Five Below and spend $5 on it. And I was too fixated on the upfront cost of that item that I'm not factoring in how many times I'm going to have to go back and buy a new one because this one died, because the cords got messed up, and the time I'm now going to be spending having to go back and forth to keep buying chargers, when if I just would have spent the $20 up front, I would have been good for the next year rather than having to buy 10 more chargers. So when you're thinking about investing and getting to that next level, and you say that you want something different for your situation than where you're currently at, in order for something to change, something has to change. In order for your situation to be different than what it is right now, you have to do something differently. Like, I'm at a space now where I am, like consistently making high 4 figures, 5 figures a month. And I'm ready, like, I want to go to that next level. How can I start making consistent multiple 5 figures? How do I start branching into that multiple 6-figure business? Inherently, I have to be doing something different from what I'm doing right now, because clearly what I'm doing right now is not getting me those results. So I have to change and do something different in order for me to get a different outcome. So maybe I need to be investing more in my Facebook ads, or working with somebody on developing more of like a sales funnel strategy. I can't keep doing things like per normal or what I've been doing, or investing the way I have been, because clearly it's not getting me the results. So if what you're doing right now isn't getting you the results that you're looking to achieve, you have to do something different to get a different result. Like, that's just like logic. You can't do anything different there. So like for me, I want to start, how can I start making $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year, $500,000 a year? I need to do something differently, which is going to require some sort of upfront investment from me in order for me to be able to get that. Like I said, maybe hiring a sales coach, or investing in Facebook ads. Maybe I need to be spending more money in my Facebook ads. But even when you look at some of these big time entrepreneurs who have like $300,000 launches, it is not uncommon for them to have about $50,000 in upfront expenses to earn that $300,000. Because again, they're not, and for a lot of us, you look at that upfront cost, I say it's going to cost you $50,000. We're going to be like, what the F? Ain't no way, I'm out. I don't have that much money. I can't commit to that. But if the back end is, you're going to have a $400,000 launch in the next, 4 to 6 months. When you look at the value and the return on the investment, it's a no-brainer. So one thing, I just want us to make sure that we really understand that you should be selling and pricing your products based on value and the return on the investment, and not so much on like how much time it's going to take you. Because as a expert, that's what you are. If you're able to provide a service, you're an expert in your own right. And like myself, I'm really good at providing strategy, helping you identify ways to 3x to 10x your current monthly income, and creating a strategy as well as an implementation plan on how to actually do that, and then supporting you along that process when it comes to service-based online businesses. That's my jam. But regardless if that takes me an hour to do with you during like a strategy session, I'm really good at it, meaning that I can do it in a shorter time span and I can do it quicker, which really should be a higher value for you if you're a business owner. Because if I say I charge $1,000 a day, right, to do like, let's say a strategy session with you. And some people are like, well, why aren't you pricing your product based off of time? So let's say if I did it in less amount of time, that means you should be paying less, right? And most people would say yes. But I said, what happens if it takes me 3 times as long to do it? That means you should be paying me more, right? Okay, yeah. But really when you start looking at it, so what if I just told you it took me 4 months and I charge $1,000 a day? So now it's $120,000. Are you going to pay that? People are like, well, no, or why should I pay that much if I can go hire somebody else to do it for less? you have to think about, like, and why would it cost me that much? Like, really, how much money do you need to be making? And really, I understand the value of my time. I know how much money I need to be earning in order for me to fully show up and support you. But at the same time, also, is I know that because of my expertise, because of my engineering background, because I've managed like hundreds of millions of dollar projects, there's a certain level of expertise that I've acquired over my time that I shouldn't be penalized because I can do it quicker. In all honesty, I should be getting paid more because I can do it in a shorter time span for you, because now it's saving you time, which is much more valuable than money. You can't get time back. So if you go hire a coach or hire a strategist to help you build a business, and it takes you, 4 months to get the same result that I can do for you in an hour, really, again, they're not beating me on, they might be cheaper, but they are not beating me on the overall cost that you're spending for that investment. Because now you're spending not only time, you're spending money, you're spending energy, you're going back and forth, and you're really, like, you could have got that all in an hour. Maybe you spend a little bit more money, but think about how much money you are losing right now because you don't know better, and how much money, like, you could be earning if you knew what to do better and you knew how to better effectively manage your time. How much money are you losing out on right now because you don't have that? And I just think when you start shifting your perspective in regards to all of that, whether or not you're investing in a service or if you're actually trying to price your products and how you communicate that to your potential client, it makes a huge difference. And that's why for me, I price all of my products based on what the return on the investment is going to be for you, not only money-wise, but energy, but time. I don't believe that, like, it shouldn't take, a lot of us here, a reason why we've had this idea of starting a business, and a year has gone by, 3 years have gone by, 6 years have gone by of your life where you never were implementing. Like, think how much money you could have been making all that time if you just would have hired a business coach or hired an income strategist or hired somebody who knew what the hell they were doing so they could teach you what to do. Think how much money you've, like, been wasting and losing because you never actually launched your business, because you never actually, like, put the right things in place in the right order so you could actually start making money. And that, to me, like, early on in my business, it's like, I don't want to waste another 3 years trying to figure this out on my own. I'd much rather drop a couple $1,000s for somebody who's already carved the path out for me, who can give me the roadmap, can give me the steps, and expedite my success. And that's really what you as an expert are doing for your client, is you are providing a service that solves a problem for them, but you're doing it quicker, you're expediting the results, and you're helping them get there faster because of your expertise, the quality you provide, and really making sure that you're receiving enough energy in the exchange of money for you to show up and fully support them in the way that you know that you need to. So I want to, like, make sure we all are on the same page in regards to that. But one thing else I want to bring up is anytime you're at a point where you're investing in something new, or you're trying to shift your business model and go to the next level, or maybe you're just trying to start your business, or whatever the case may be, resistance is always going to come up. And that's very, very natural. You should expect and anticipate that. There's always going to be objections. Resistance is always going to come up because we're human. And our body, our ego is designed to protect us. And I like to use this example sometimes with dating. Sometimes we get, and I've been in this situation, I'm dating a guy and I'm in a toxic relationship that I know isn't healthy, but sometimes it's easier to stay because we know what to expect. Even though we know what isn't good and we know it's not even what we want, it's easier to stay sometimes because we know what to expect. And even though it doesn't make us happy, our body is comfortable because again, we know what to expect. But when we start trying to venture out and maybe break up with that bad guy or break up from that bad relationship and even just separate ourselves from it and to go into something new, resistance pops up. And again, that's very natural because your body is trying to protect you and keep you comfortable. And going into something new and stepping out and doing something differently requires things to change. And we are not able to see what the future holds. So there's just a bit of fear that pops up sometimes. And that's, again, very normal. And especially for you, if you're a product provider or a service provider, when you're selling a product or service, you need to anticipate and just know that when you're selling, there is going to be resistance from whoever is that you're selling to, mainly because they're about to grow to another level, which means change and something different is required, and just there's always that bit of resistance. But I think a lot of time, like, why does the resistance even show up in the first place? And outside of like the ego and the fear of the unknown, or people are like, oh my God, I absolutely love you. Like, I would love to work with you, but I can't because of X, Y, or Z. What they're really saying is that, like, they're taking themselves out of the game because this feels hard. They never really like say it like that. Nobody ever is like, I'm saying that I don't have the money, or I don't have the time, or I have to talk to my spouse, or this isn't really a good time. Like, let me wait another 6 months. That's all like deflection 9 times out of 10, because again, like, they know that it's going to be hard. Like, they have to do something differently in order to get the result. And it's scary sometimes because it is hard. Either you're going to have to wake up earlier in the morning, or maybe you're going to have to, like, sacrifice time with your family or friends sometimes, or, you're going to have to stay up later, or like, just how you allocate your time is going to have to change and be different in order for you to get a different result. And it scares people. But I think the most important thing for you as a service provider, or for a coach or a consultant, or whatever the case may be, is making sure that you are conveying with that potential client or customer that you are here to support them through that change and through that evolution. Because no matter what the resistance is going to come up, no matter what, there's going to be objections. But really all those objections are really saying is, this shit sounds hard, and I'm scared that I may fail. I'm scared that I may not be able to get that result. I'm scared of whatever it is. It's their own belief system. They just haven't decided yet that, yes, I can do this, and I believe in myself 100% that I'm going to get the result. So I think, like, for me, it's my job to let them know that they're not doing it alone. Like, I'm here to support them along that step. I'm here to support them every step of the way. And like, they don't have to know it all. Like, that's what I'm going to be here to support them and how to do, to help them, like, overcome that objection, overcome that fear, and get to the next space. But I think, I don't know, like, a lot of the objections that I personally receive, and that I know I've even given when it's time for me to get to that next level of my business, again, is that I don't have the money. It feels like too much money. I don't have the time. Like, I try to deflect my decision on some other excuse rather than going back to, like, Jay, this is you. Do you believe in yourself enough to know that you're capable of doing the work to get the result? Are you willing to make some of those short-term sacrifices so you can have the long-term gain of what the return on the investment is going to be for you getting to the next level? And that's really what it's about. And that's really where most people struggle when it's time for them to go to that next level, more than time, money, or energy. And like, for me, every time I've made an investment in my business, normally it only requires me to get like 1 new client or 2 new clients to cover that full investment that I just gave. And when I put that in perspective, again, it helps you overcome that initial hurdle of what that price sticker is. And again, realize what's the return on the investment. So yes, let's say it is $3,000 to work with me, or $9,000 to work with me. But if I say that, like, yes, it may be $9,000, but literally that's you getting 1 new client, and that now covers the entire cost of us working together, is it worth it? Fuck yeah, it is. Because like, you getting 1 client is just going to be that one-time thing. But now us working together, you're going to be able to duplicate that over and over and over again. So, you have to start thinking about, as you're pricing your products, as you are supporting somebody and getting to the next level and helping them solve a problem that they have, focus more on conveying the value of your product or service and what you're actually providing for them. And again, making sure that you're communicating not just what the upfront cost is going to be, but how quickly or how easily it will be, because they're working with you to recoup that investment and to get that return on their investment on the back end. And really how you're able to do that in a shorter time span than somebody else. They're not wasting time, wasting effort, and honestly spending more money doing all these haphazard smaller solutions, rather when they can just do one and done with you and get to their end result. But also realize that objections and resistance is always going to pop up, and you need to be able to support somebody through those objections and through those hurdles, by helping, 1, letting them know they're not alone, that you're here to support them, but 2, helping them truly understand the value of what you're offering. So I hope this was helpful. This is something that keeps popping up for me in my personal life and in taking my investments and going to the next level, and something that I deal with potential clients, as well as that I help my clients with. So let me know if you guys still have questions. I hope this is helpful for you. I'd love to hear your feedback or comments, in the comment section. And I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you soon.